warrants and bills been signed?
Yes.
Okay, next we move on to the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second that.
All in favor? Motion passes. Minutes of the last meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second that.
All in favor? Motion passes. And then we're moving on to the town administrator weekly update.
All right, a couple items for you this week. First is to let you know that we'll be scheduling a general assistance public hearing on September 24th at 6 o'clock. This time every year, October 1st, the state looks at all of the different numbers and adjusts them accordingly. We're required before you adopt them to have a public hearing, so that will be on the 24th. Next is just to let you know that Grammy Rose called about September 20th, which is a Saturday, next Saturday. They've often used the parking lot as kind of an overflow when they have an event. It's something that several places have actually used in town. We kind of follow the same guideline with everybody, is that we're not approving, we don't have any parking, you know, anything that says no parking, but we're not approving in advance. So if the church had something going on, or there's a birthday party, it's kind of, you know, first come. So we're not telling them they can or can't, really. It's a public parking lot, but they wanted to make the board aware.
Just don't park in the fire station.
Right. Yeah. And they're good about staying as far away from the, you know, building as possible. I spoke to Deputy Sanborn today, and he inquired about the vehicle and sent a couple of emails that were unanswered, so I asked him when I saw him today. They estimate about 2 months, probably before we get the new car, but the current one they said is running fine for now. But the new one should be about 2 months out. Today we were finally able to approve the proof for the tax bills. It's been an interesting 48 hours with the companies, some errors, but with the help of the select board and Mark Roy, the treasurer also looked at it. We got everything the way it needs to be, and they should be hitting the mailboxes within the next 3 to 5 days. And last is a reminder that we have an election on September 30th for 5 municipal questions. Absentee ballots are available in the clerk's office now for anybody that would like one. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Next we can move on to liaison updates, starting with Ed.
Thank you. School department, there's a school committee meeting tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock at the school. I'm going to attend that, see how that is. Nothing on the school, Lincoln School, nothing at the transfer station. Yeah, there's something else going on at 6 at the school, so, yep, at 4.
Next we have John.
I have nothing for these, but I got a step closer today to getting the money from CRP. I expect to hear from them tomorrow, and my revised grant, I expect to be approved tomorrow. So when that gets approved, we will print it out, have you sign it, scan it in, and off it goes, and I believe we'll be done.
Excellent, good job.
Nice.
Great news.
That's it.
Tom.
We ended up moving some money today, the $500,000, Jennifer, to cover some bills, but shortly we should be receiving some tax receipts and the fund will be replenished. Had a chance to, actually I've been working on the mooring ordinance. I had suggested some changes that we shared with council. They revised that, put a revised draft. They sent it off to the state. Who at the state?
I don't have to.
That's right, it was a state official, Attorney General's office?
Yes.
Attorney General's office, and they hopefully will be back to us the end of the week. I met with Jason today to get his comments, and generally he was fine with the document as drafted. So we'll be on track to do something with that at the next available opportunity, which may not be till April. May not be till April. That's all that I have.
Well, thank you for following up on all those pieces and doing all that behind the scenes work on the ordinance. I know it's an important one to many people.
The auditors are coming in
Next week.
Next week. They're starting their audit work,
Tuesday,
field
Wednesday.
work.
Yes, they'll be on site.
They'll be on site, so it's pretty much what they did last year too, around the same time.
Exactly.
So we should expect a similar time frame.
Couple of weeks, they were here last last time?
No, 3 days usually,
That's
it's
it?
usually, yeah, 3 days.
Seems like they were here for a long time.
Thank you, Tom. Next we have David.
I don't think I have anything tonight, sir.
Okay, thank you. And I only have that I met with a candidate for the rec committee, which we will be seeing them later on in the agenda. With that, we will be moving on to department head and committee chair updates. And I don't see any, so we'll be moving on to old business, beginning with change and fund balances.
Okay, so in front of you, after our very detailed conversation last week, we have a color-coded graph. This is worked on with Mark Roy and based on votes that happened. Essentially, if we go through and look at the blue ones, these are accounts that the select board pretty much have decided that these accounts are left alone. So obviously, we have the general fund, school fund, the Mary Grant Fund, because that's their own and only fundraising. Article 43, the Lincoln School, and then you have your road accounts, and the cemetery is on there, which we can talk about in the end. But those are basically your solid accounts that will be kept in place. Capital Improvement Fund is also one that we'll talk about that could be blue. The yellow ones are the accounts that we dissolved in April of 2025. So effective July 1, they're already dissolved. The report that we looked at, that I gave you last week, was an audited report. I thought that was the best one to look at, but I didn't look close enough to realize that Mark hadn't done his journal entries based on what was approved. I mean, we talked about the fact that we spent down the conservation and forest, but obviously we didn't have them all memorized. So here we go. That rec fund is already dissolved. We used it to offset it in a warrant article. Forestry is done, conservation, that veteran cemetery, so those are already all dissolved. The LRAP and road we took care of in one of the articles. The APAT we used to offset their budget, and Peck Road expired June 30th, so that money went back into the unassigned fund balance. So that already 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lowers the amount of accounts by 7. So in your next monthly report, those will just be gone because they're zeroed out. Green accounts per Mr. Roy are external accounts that he says can't be dissolved because the funds come from an outside source. I did have a conversation with Tom about this, and his thought is that they can be spent as long as we're spending them on basically what they were originally designed for. So we're going to do a little more research on at least the first one, the fire department grant. We want to make sure that when grant money came in, that when we expended it, because it's hard to believe that we got grant money for the fire department and we didn't spend it on what we got the grant for. So we're wondering if it just didn't get hit budgetarily wise correctly.
I suspect that's what it was.
So we're gonna,
Unless there's an active grant, I'm sure that's what it was.
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, I'll hold my thought.
So the fire department donation line, Tom asked me to have a conversation with the fire chief, which I'll do in the next day or two to see if he's got some sort of purchase in mind for that
I think
line.
that's something we ought to keep in mind in the future. For instance, the radios, when he came in, was looking for funding or approval for the radios. There's $2,200 sitting in a gift fund. From my perspective, those kinds of funds always ought to be used first,
Okay.
and try to keep the operating budget intact if we can. All right?
So the Neighbors Helping Neighbors, fuel assistance, and then the scholarship funds down there. And then the last of them.
I got a question real quick on the scholarships. I'm trying to figure out how that works. So it's kind of odd to me. I mean, they're great and all that. I'm not just saying just how it works, because who creates those?
The families, I believe.
So the
So the
right.
families come to the town.
These have been on the books for a very, very, very long
I understand
time.
that, but that's why it's kind of odd to me that they could come and create one, and then we just have to take care of it versus.
Yes, and in the email that,
The meeting's not being.
A lot of scholarships work that way, like with the
In the
University of
meeting.
Maine, they get a lot of families who do it, and
Yeah.
then they leave it up to
The
the
University of
foundation.
Maine, which is a private entity.
But they have the university, but then they have the foundation, and a lot of families will make a fund with the foundation, they'll make the initial whatever contribution, 100,000, whatever, and then it's up to the foundation to distribute it.
But we're acting,
Oversee it.
we're
Yeah.
acting as the foundation.
Yeah.
yeah, Mark said, and when I spoke to Mark, one of the things that he said very clearly is he doesn't recommend to any of his clients, that to take on any more scholarships.
No,
Take
I
on-
just- it
it
just
is
doesn't-
just work for the town,
Yeah.
there's nothing more. He recommended in the email, and you
That's
saw
what the
that,
school would do.
that he well, the school oversees it, they have a school
Okay.
committee, but it's still
Yeah,
town
but
accounts.
it's-
Gotcha,
But
okay.
he recommends giving these scholarships, asking the town voters to turn these scholarships over to the main community fund. There's a place
For
that
just doing
oversees all
scholarships.
these scholarships, that you would basically sign them
I don't know if
over to them.
that's a great idea. I was just confused on
Yeah.
how you could actually, if I wanted to do a Winchell scholarship or whatever, I can dump it in the town's lap, say you take care of it for
That's
100 years.
exactly, if the voters approve, yes.
So they approve this. They
They have
approve
to
it.
accept
Way
it.
back in the day, they
They
must
did,
have,
okay,
yeah, they
okay.
must have.
Yeah.
Dan is working on the camera thing, that's who I'm texting if anybody.
Oh, is there something wrong with the camera?
Yeah, so we've
We're
gotten
not
a
streaming.
couple, yeah.
Oh, we can't see our beautiful faces.
At least one.
I was thinking mine, but yeah, maybe two. My new hairdo.
I'm just pretending I don't hear you guys.
Dave's gonna throw up.
We'll find out how that happens.
I don't know what you guys are
Yeah,
talking
I know.
about, but you guys are talking about your hair and
Good.
stuff, so.
Well, you know, I'm talking about my hair.
If
I
we
don't know
weren't
about
live, if we weren't streaming, I wouldn't have said that.
Well, it's still recording, just so you know, it's still recording to the cloud, so it's all still gonna be played eventually,
That's
so.
okay.
Dan is working on it, but he's recording.
Good.
So we'll look more into those scholarships.
I have one question. Are we gonna talk about the
Yeah,
lights? Okay,
well, so
sorry.
let's go through the pink, so the.
Oh, pink, yep.
So the pinkest peach for their color one is, these are ones that he recommends putting on your next warrant to either dissolve or liquidate to the, capital
The
reserve.
pink,
Yeah.
Pink, yeah. So the, EP, the earned paid leave, we already moved 20,000 out, he agrees, just move the other 5,000. So the question, and you have until April to decide this, is that do you wanna dissolve it into the unassigned fund balance, or are you trying to make one big capital improvement fund for your, 5-10 year plan that he's working on, so you don't need to decide that tonight. The fire department capital fund, the ambulance fund, the bridge and culverts, the town hall parking lot, the dam capital fund, all of those he would dissolve.
So should I not, because the last meeting, we had talked about me reaching out to the committee about that fund, if there's anything that we,
Which one
the
did
dam capital, oh, that sounds weird. Yeah, the dam one, I think that we had talked about that, about the,
Sanford.
yeah, going to them and see if there's anything that we
Yeah,
needed
you
that
were
for.
gonna
I was
ask
gonna
them
wait for the
if,
next meeting, but I can reach out sooner, I
Yeah,
guess.
just ask me if there are any commitments that
Okay.
the town has
I'll
for
do
the
that, I'll
capital
send an email
funding.
tonight about that then.
So with the dam, we pay a certain amount every year anyways, right? So that,
Yes,
no.
maintenance, yes.
Just
Operating.
Operating, yeah.
maintenance.
Okay, so,
This account here right now covers that and more, right?
No, this is a set aside for
Oh,
capital.
this is
as
set,
I-
yeah,
as I
like when we
understand
had it, when it got fixed, right?
it. Okay.
Yeah. So honestly, we don't need that account.
okay.
Well, as I recall, they will often ask for capital
Yeah.
money. We don't pay it to them. And when I looked at this last, the town had just, Sanford, had just incurred the capital cost, and they never charged it back and requested the money. So, it went back for years, and I told them, I said, that's, forget it, we're not going back. on this."
Wouldn't we be better off
Start
doing what we
it.
normally do when there's a project? We just either have a special town meeting or put it on the warrant. Have them come to us in this
They've
whole
been
meeting.
encouraging us to build this up, but it's, in case, for the what ifs, correct?
is
I mean,
there,
that's,
is there any reason not to just leave that on its own and fold the rest of them in?
I don't,
What if?
so if it's not for maintenance, we know what our maintenance cost is every year. Now, when we did the dam last time, we saved up, I think we actually had to put money in, we had to vote more money in to make it to
We
whatever.
did, yeah.
So anytime that we have a project like that, unless it's an emergency, they're gonna, at the dam coalition's gonna tell us roughly what the cost is gonna be. And they shouldn't, we should be doing the same thing as we do in all our other projects. Get a cost, and then put it to the town. Again, instead of just having money just sitting
I don't
around in
think
these
our
accounts.
calendar will necessarily, our calendar, and town meeting calendar and budget process is gonna line up with their committee
But
process.
we do special town meetings all the time with stuff like this.
Well,
Yeah.
this means you could have a special
Yeah.
town meeting.
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah, I'm just, that's what I'm.
Can we find out what Shapley's doing?
Okay.
Because they're in a very similar circumstance. Let's see if they've got
they
it.
have a reserve fund, it's a reserve account, they have a reserve account for everything.
And
What do
so,
we give them every year, $5 to $600?
I think I think the,
as our yearly maintenance.
I just don't wanna see money sitting in accounts just growing there. But we have a big account called the undesignated fund balance, and when we need it, we go get
I
it.
mean, or how about putting, I mean, you know, can you make a larger capital improvement fund account? And whether it's the dam that comes up, or whether it's
We got
some
a
other
contingency
project.
fund too, you know,
Yeah,
so.
I'm fine, I just wanted to make sure, because the board had given direction last meeting, and
can we,
we'll talk.
Dan, let you and I talk offline about this, okay?
Yeah.
And we'll come back and talk about it next week, okay? Unless there's any objection to that. There's some things I wanna share with Dan about this.
So right now, there's $22,000 in that account, is that right?
Which one looking at?
15.
Oh, 50,
69.
okay, why does it say ending balance 22? Oh, no, I'm
Looking at
I'm sorry.
I'm just looking to streamline it so we don't have to have a special town meeting every
Yeah,
time we
yeah,
want money.
I mean, I'm just trying to, if we're gonna start knocking off all these reserve counts,
Yep.
um,
I get it.
I don't know, I think that Sanford has a tendency of just, we need a check, here you go. I don't like that.
That's really
Myself, I think I've been very public with this before. We don't own the dam, we don't own the beach.
We have no
They-
control.
We have no control over anything down there, even though people seem to think they do, they don't. And, cause when that sewer district needs water, it's gonna get it.
Gotta get it.
And, but, I mean, it's fine.
Well, we signed an agreement,
Yeah, I know.
and so we have basically a contract between Sanford, Shapley, and Acton that
That-
regulates this fund.
Did we ever?
Does
we
that
never
come out?
voted on that, did we?
I know we signed it.
Yeah.
I know it's a signed agreement.
Move an agreement. It's an agreement, yes. That we
And
Does
was
it
it
get
voted
renewed,
on
or-
by the town?
I'd have to go back and do some research.
Somebody signed it, a number of years ago.
Oh, I remember.
Dan, what's your question?
Is the contract, is that something that comes up every so many years, or was like a?
No, it's just it's a standing agreement that
It's an
essentially says
MOU
who's gonna be
between-
on the committee, you know, one member from here, certain members of the lake,
I
and
don't
how
think there's
often you'll
anything
meet.
binding us.
There's
to
not.
it.
That's what I was
Right.
asking.
It-
No,
it's
we can
something
get
that,
out of it at any time.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
But I think the
But it's gonna-
15,000 came
It
from,
it does specify the funding contribution
Does it?
levels by the three parties.
Yeah,
But if-
Is it 50?
and then
50,
25 and 20,
50?
50, 25, and 25.
Yeah, so, this has some binding.
But yeah, the 5,000 I think comes from 3 years worth of them asking us to put capital money aside.
That's right, that's right.
So they haven't spent it or asked for it, so.
okay, yeah,
um,
not a big deal.
So anyway, so those ones, you'll decide at some point to either dissolve them or liquidate them into, capital reserve or liquidate them into the unassigned. The only ones that we didn't put a color code on because I'm not sure where you guys are at, so the capital improvement fund, because there was some talk about putting all the money into one account and figuring out what you wanna do with it. And then the Route 109 ball field fund, because I know that work I think is being done there, so I didn't know, I don't know if we dissolve
I
that one.
have
Can we go back to the capital improvement fund? Mark's capital planning work, when's that scheduled to be done?
So, he sent an email out to all the department heads.
Yeah.
Let me just see. So I'm working on updating the schedule this afternoon. Once he gets, there's one department that we're waiting for. I will upload the updates next week to the auditor for them to work on. Then after that, it's developing the future capital projects and purchases.
Okay,
So we sent out the asset sheets to all the departments. We're still waiting for one.
right, and so where do the future projects come from in his?
That comes from the select board and meeting with department heads.
Okay,
He said
so
something
we
last
might
week.
do that as part of the budget process?
I think that would be perfect timing.
Okay, all right. So I would suggest we hold up, this action, any action we take to clear out of these accounts will require, if they require town approval.
Right, so we're not doing it until next
So we
April
can-
anyways.
At that time, if we feel we need money in a capital account, then we could recommend moving it there, otherwise we'll put it back into undesignated reserve.
The ones that we want, about.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes
Right, yeah,
sense.
you're not voting on it.
That makes
anytime
sense.
soon.
Yep.
David, where do you see the ball field and money, what's
I
gonna
haven't
be?
got a quote out of them yet.
Okay, so we're
I'm
still,
waiting for a quote from them.
To do what?
Finishing the work.
Finish.
So while they're there, they called me and asked me if, what they wanted us to continue on. I said, well, what I wanna do is I want a finished product. They're gonna do up to a certain point, but to do all the loam and the riprap, retention, the culverts, I told them, give us a price, give us a quote, we can take a look at it, see if they're there. If it's reasonable, I think it's something we might be able to proceed with. with reason, and within reason, and, that we couldn't make a decision on anything until we see some numbers.
Yeah, 100%.
Could we bid that out?
Well, so the thing is it's kind of tough, because to do that, they're already working the spot because they've done
No,
so much work for free.
I understand the complication. I'm
And
just-
so I don't know legally, but the way it's, we've gotten so much work done for free, I would hate to put it out to bid and have somebody else come and do it. And then they're not gonna do it as cheap because they got all the materials sitting right there, they're trying to get rid of anyways, but, so it's a toughie. We gotta see what the number is first.
It's just, it's likely to be a, you know, $10,000-$20,000 item.
Oh, I'm sure of that,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
So.
It'll probably wipe this account out. I'm
I
sure.
understand the rationale why you think this would be a cheaper option. I think we just need to find a way of documenting that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, that in fact, it's gonna be a cheaper
So-
option.
So, you know, because the way I was looking at it was, in the good old days, we'd hire someone, go up, do a good job for cheap money, and, but, we have to put some of the stuff out. There's a lot of stuff that should be put out in the town of Acton for bid, and maybe we ought to start doing that too. But, this is one of those processes where we probably should go out to bid, but it's gonna really screw us pretty bad if we do. So, I think timing and, cost-wise, I think eventually it'll screw us, but it probably will have to be put out to bid, because there will be people who will complain if we don't. So,
Could we ask our road agent to
I would
just
rather not.
evaluate this?
I'd rather not.
Not to have him do the work, but
No,
to evaluate the
I-
price?
No, I'd
Okay.
rather not.
Okay, I guess we'll have to figure that out when we get there.
I mean, we see the price that comes, I can evaluate just as well as he can,
I know you
if
can.
not better.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 25, 30 years.
I know.
But, what do you call it, but we'll see what the number comes in at. It may not be a lot. And it might be something where we can say, okay, because they did say they have extra materials, this and that,
Yeah.
but, if it comes in large, then we'll have
Okay,
to
let's see
discuss
what
it.
it looks like.
See what it is,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so at least that's an update from last week, and we'll hold on to this, and once we get closer to town meetings, we'll continue to talk about it as the capital plan comes in.
Thank you for this is really helpful. Anything else on that, or is that it? With that, we'll move into the 2025-2026 budget timeline.
So last week we went over what we considered a draft, we didn't really have a lot of discussion over it. I'm sorry, I didn't print them off again. Oh, you pictures? Anyways, I think the only discussion that came from last week is check with the school.
Yeah.
I did hear, I just heard from, I'm sorry, I'm getting several messages about the meeting. Did hear from Mr. Ross, April 11th seems to work fine for them. He's gonna announce it at the school meeting tomorrow night. I did tell him it was tentative. Any other thoughts on, we have the department budgets due October 21st, so ideally, a memo goes out in the next few days, and that gives them a month and a half, 5-6
So the
weeks
department head presentations take place from the 5th to the 19th
of November.
of November. Zoning articles, and we wrap things up by January 20th.
That's Warren Finance.
Oh, Warren Finance, Board of Selectmen, February 4th.
I thought the timeline looked good, I liked it.
I don't see a reason why we can't do
I mean,
this.
you wanted to do it earlier,
No,
correct?
no, I think this accomplishes that. Has this been,
No,
No.
no one's seen it but this board.
And then
okay,
you just
so what do
mentioned.
you need from us?
Well, direction, like you told me to put it together one
No,
early,
I appreciate that.
and you wanted
What
to wait
action
till
do we
the.
normally take on this?
You just
We just say, yeah,
tell
okay,
me
looks
you're ready to
good.
go.
It
Well,
looks good.
I
Looks
think-
good to me. Anyone else?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I think
So we're gonna be done early, which means when we're done, we're done. Alright. We'll start working on it, get memos out to the department heads. Is there anything special you want them to say? We're gonna follow last year's, that they're not doing salary unless they're new positions or, training or something specific they wanna point out. Leaving that line blank, anything, right? Is that what you wanna do again, or?
I think it worked.
I think I would do what we did last year.
I think there was no issues with that.
Any reason to change anything there?
What are we talking about? Changing
Like
what
when the
part?
memo that goes to the department heads, basically to say, we're looking for the budget, they don't need to do salary lines unless there's new positions or something the board needs to take into consideration.
Yeah.
They don't need to do rates or anything, you'll set all that. Social services, nothing new. Is there anything else you want from the social service? I mean, you wanna continue to get their financial statements? What do you want from the
I
social
think
services?
it's a good thing to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So financial statements and 1 year's worth and an annual report is what we've asked for in the past.
Yep.
And we wanna know specifically how many families, kids, adults they've assisted in active.
Votes,
I'm sorry?
votes. Doesn't,
Did you say votes?
yeah, don't they give us a report on how many votes they
Ah.
did?
How many other bills well?
Oh, like for the watch
Yeah,
or
for the
whatever.
Inspections and
Yeah.
so on.
We do that too.
Alright, got it.
And that is all for that. We will move into new business, which we have an appointment. As I mentioned earlier, I met with Megan Gable, who's interested in joining the rec committee. Seems to have a lot of good ideas for the rec, and seems very excited coming through some experience from Sanford, which is nice to hear because that is a big program. Talked about wanting to see what we can bring from there, kind of scale down and fit into the town. Also, very seems to be in line with what the rec director has hopes for, expanding some programs beyond just kind of youth sports. I know they talked about doing something maybe for some of the older folks in town. So I would recommend that we appoint this individual to the rec. So I guess I will make a motion to appoint Megan Gable as a recreation committee member until the term ending on 6/30/2026.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Yep. And with that being signed, I will send an email out to Amanda to let her know, and to Megan let her know to meet with the town administrator to get sworn in. And just pending, kind of still in the sidelines for now, transfer station, and we do have the sand bids that are going to be on September 17th. With that being said, we're going to move into public comment. Is there any public comment from anybody? Going once?
I need to, no, I haven't.
Okay, going twice. With that being said, I will entertain a motion,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn
I'll
at
second
6:30.
that.
and we have a second. All in favor? The meeting is adjourned at 6:30 p.m.